Sonic was big in the 90s, but his biggest year was probably 1993. This was immediately after the success of Sonic 1 and 2, and right before the release of Sonic 3. Merchandise was flying off the shelves, a popular long-running comic series got its start, and not one but two animated series premiered on American television. Of course, let's not forget two major Sonic games, Sonic CD and Sonic Spinball, launching in 1993. All this hype led up to the release of the third main series title in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, in February of 1994. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was released in 1994 as two separate games, Sonic 3 in February and Sonic & Knuckles in October. While most people see these as two separate games, most Sonic fans, as well as the developers, see it as two parts of one whole game. The game was supposed to launch in time for Christmas 1993, but due to unforeseen development troubles, the game was split in half and delayed until February 1994. The original idea for the game was that it was going to be a massive title easily 4 times the size of previous Sonic games, with larger stages and double the amount of levels, as well as 3 playable characters, each with their own playstyle and level paths. As development went on, it was decided the game would be too expensive to sell as one cartridge due to the game's size. Rather than cut content like they did previously with Sonic 2, the decision was made to split the game into 2 parts, with the latter release boasting lock-on technology that could combine the 2 games. This feature also allowed players to add Knuckles to Sonic 2, as well as unlock the game Blue Sphere when any other Genesis cartridge is inserted. Sonic 3 has more story than the previous 2 games, with 3 being linked directly to the ending of 2. After the events of Sonic 2, Sonic and Tails decide to check out Angel Island, where they're met by an aggressive and territorial Knuckles the Echidna. Apparently, Dr. Robotnik got to Angel Island first, and told Knuckles that Sonic was after the Master Emerald, Angel Island's best-guarded secret. While Knuckles focuses on antagonizing Sonic at every turn, Dr. Robotnik is free to establish a base on the island where he can repair and launch the Death Egg. Eventually, the battle between Dr. Robotnik and Sonic leads to the Hidden Palace, where Knuckles guards the Master Emerald, and Knuckles realizes that Robotnik is the one who's been after the Master Emerald this whole time. Exhausted from all the fighting, Knuckles leads Sonic and Tails to the Sky Sanctuary, where they can catch up with the launching Death Egg and stop Robotnik. The story is pretty epic for a video game with no dialogue, written or otherwise. There aren't any text bubbles, no voice actors, everything is expressed through body language and animation. The cutscenes amount to little more than connective tissue between levels, save for the Hidden Palace zone, but the story is easily understood by anyone playing the game. Again, this is a 2-part game, so when Sonic 3 came out, the marketing led everyone to believe Knuckles was a villain. Throughout the game itself, he's always shown as a pest at every turn, never directly confronting Sonic, but always causing trouble behind the scenes. It wasn't until Sonic & Knuckles came out that we discovered that Knuckles was manipulated by Dr. Robotnik, and that he's actually a good guy who just wants to protect his island. Sonic has always been political. Both Sonic 1 and 2 were about the discussion between environmentalism and industrialization. Sonic 3 presents a new discussion with Knuckles and Angel Island, that being a discussion on indigenous rights. Angel Island is a geographical anomaly because it's a floating island. Whatever causes it to float is what attracted Dr. Robotnik in the first place. Knuckles is the last of the Echidnas, a race of animals who formerly habitated Angel Island, but whose numbers have since dwindled. Knuckles is the guardian of the plants and animals of Angel Island, as well as the Master Emerald. This plot parallels a lot of real-life situations where uncontacted people's lives are disturbed by resource-hungry businesses. The Amazon rainforest, for example, has been controversial for decades as land developers lobby for the right to use the land and its resources for their own personal gain, despite what or who might inhabit the land. Gameplay-wise, Sonic 3 is an evolution of the formula established in Sonic 1 and expanded in Sonic 2. This time around, the levels are bigger and there are more alternate paths to take, but for the most part the gameplay is the same. Now levels are designed around the characters, so each level has different paths that only specific characters can reach. The music in Sonic 3 is some of the best the series has ever had, but of course there's some controversy surrounding that. For Sonic 1 and 2, Sega had contracted Masato Nakamura of the Japanese pop group Dreams Come True. For Sonic 3, Sega decided they wanted a new sound, so they contracted Michael Jackson, who had worked with Sega previously on the game Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's been covered to death, but the long and short of it is that Michael Jackson was contracted to work on Sonic 3 and then left the project before it really went anywhere. The official word is that Jackson wasn't happy with the Genesis sound chip, but it's hard to ignore the child sex abuse scandal that happened around the same time. Either way, Jackson left the project and his name was struck from the credits. However, Sega still kept the songwriting team Jackson had assembled. Brad Buxer, Bobby Brooks, Daryl Ross, Jeff Grace, Doug Grigsby III, and Shirako Jones are all credited for Sonic 3's music, and each one had previously worked with Michael Jackson in some capacity. For Sonic & Knuckles, the second half of the game released later in the year, the songwriting team had all been replaced with Sega's in-house musicians, with Howard Drawson getting the final credit. It's commonly believed that Sega has been avoiding any sort of modern re-release or remake of Sonic 3 due to the rights to the music. It's well known that Sega can't use the iconic music from Sonic 1 and 2 without paying royalties to Masato Nakamura, but it's not known what the situation is with Sonic 3. There are several possible theories, such as Michael Jackson's estate charging too much for the rights to the music, or that Sega's avoiding it because fans have pointed out blatant similarities between Michael Jackson songs and Sonic 3 songs. I personally believe, and this is speculation on my part, that it's because Brad Buxer, one of the songwriters for Sonic 3, repurposed the Jetsons song Hard Times for Ice Cap Zone. Regardless of why, Sega has been reluctant to re-release Sonic 3 in any capacity. This is the part in the retrospective where I say I've been playing the definitive version of Sonic 3 for this video, the Christian Whitehead remake that was lovingly handcrafted to recreate the original experience for modern platforms. I'd like to say that, only it isn't true. Whitehead was never allowed to remake Sonic 3 for whatever reason. This isn't for a lack of trying, however. The 2013 remake of Sonic 2 featured a newly added post-credits scene that hints at the next game, and Whitehead even released a promotional video showing the Sonic 3 remake running, same as when he made a video promoting his Sonic CD remake concept. There's been nothing but silence on Sega's end, and even during production of Sonic Mania, they were only cleared to use Hydro City Zone late in development. Outside of that, there's no Sonic 3 representation in Mania. So if I'm not playing the Whitehead remaster, what version have I been playing? One of the closest things we'll get to a definitive version, a ROM hack called Sonic 3 Complete that combines both Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, giving the player the full complete experience. This fan-made ROM hack gives the player a suite of options to toggle, allowing them to set the game to their specific preferences. While it might not amaze casual players, it's a treat for die-hard fans of Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles. However, in the time since I began work on this video, a new remake of Sonic 3 has come out. A fan project called Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited, or AIR, that attempts to recreate the whole Sonic 3 and Knuckles package in a manner similar to the Christian Whitehead remakes. The game supports native widescreen and is definitely worth checking out, though it requires a copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles from Steam to play it. Since 1994, Sonic 3 has been the quintessential Sonic experience. Some Sonic CD fans would dispute this, as it's long been a debate within the community on which game is superior. I'm personally biased to Sonic 3, but both games are great, so everybody wins. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of future videos. If you really like us, subscribe to our Patreon to catch all our future videos first. Peace out.